Alrighty. Hello, everyone, for the late night owls like myself. Give me 1 second. Let me send this link out to a couple places, and we'll be on a roll. Got one viewer already. Oh, where? Oh my God, what's up, Adam? How's it going, man? Long time no see, buddy. Seriously, how's everything going with you? You doing a little bit better, at least? Sorry, I know my exciting, me posting this out and whatnot. Yes, it is a little late night-ish. The reason being is I whatchamacallit, I got home from work. It was a late day, and I just passed out for a little bit, and yeah, so now I'm awake. Uh, yeah, no, that's cool that you dropped in, man. That's I'm ecstatic for that. Sounds good, man. Yeah, take your time. No worries. I just wanted to make sure you're good, man. That's all. No worries, man. Like I said, we just wanted you to check in. That's all. We understand. Trust me, we understand. You're okay. Can't really see her, but I have the puppers down here too. All right, we'll start this up. It is currently 1:18 a.m. We'll start it up in about 10 minutes or so, 12 minutes. So that'll be 1:30. That sound good? I think that'll be good. That way we can get some people in here. I think I need to adjust the camera a little bit though. There we go. So it's not like completely trying to cut off my head. So I'm not like, hey guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome for joining. For those of you who are just joining, we're going to set this up in about 10 minutes, and we'll see how it goes. As with any other video, basically, I expect some sort of failure in between because, you know, I've never not had a video that has a failure, especially when I'm doing a live stream. Whether me like fumbling something and dropping something, what have you. So be prepared. And I have my little buddy here. Right, Weenie? Little puppers. Got my cutter there. All right. I really wish that I could have some sort of background music. Actually, I could probably boot up my buddy's stuff and have that as a background. Maybe we can do that. Let's do that, shall we? So we have some background music, so it's not just so bleh. We'll go to the YouTubes. And we'll go to my buddy. Let's see here. That way I don't get copyright infringement because, you know, YouTube loves to do that. And we'll go to those videos. Half hour. That's pretty good. Not exactly your normal music, but hey, I dig it. Well, maybe we'll start it in a couple minutes, actually. We'll start it at 1:25, so that's in 2 minutes. Okay. The suspense is killing me. For those of you who are around and you think somebody would enjoy watching this, even though I'm not that, spectacular doing it, by all means, tweet it out, but whatever. Instead of you guys watching me eat chips and drink some soda. One more minute. Hello, everyone. We'll start in less than a minute. All right. All right. It is 1:25 in the morning here. Yes, I am wide awake. I happen to have a nap for the day. So let me see if I can move this forward. There we go. Just kind of out of the way. All right. So we have here the Geeetech DP200. That is. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, so we have the Geeetech DP200. This is a resin style printer. I believe it is an SLA. So I don't think it's an MSLA. I forget which one is what, but anyway, you guys could probably see the other one that's in the back here, and there is one below that. It's waiting for an LCD screen. That is the Haiyan SQ1, and then there's the Elegoo Mars right here. So in due time, we will do a comparison between, the resin printers that are out there, because I will be getting an Anycubic Photon S, and that will be a great comparison to this because it's similar priced. Excuse me, and it is one of the higher end, I guess, resin printers, or probably mid-range actually, that you can buy out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this bad boy open. Little heavy here. All right, just like any other resin printer, it is packaged pretty well. So when we open up the box first, all right. So we get a plastic or a metal. All right, so we get a bag of parts and miscellaneous stuff. So let's take that out. We get a nice big scraper, basically a putty knife, and this is nice because it has a cut edge on it. So that might actually work very well for taking prints off. Let's see what else here. There's a hole in the bag. Okay, so we have a small Allen wrench, medium Allen wrench, or I'm sorry, a medium Allen wrench and then a large Allen wrench. Our SD card, not SD card, sorry, USB stick. I would think that that has a test file on it. This is kind of nice. It's very small. You can take it anywhere with you. It's one of the nicer feeling USB sticks I've had. Oh, well, this is interesting. I'll be honest, I did not even really read too much into the Geeetech. I just know I wanted one because if anybody knows me, I am a Geeetech fan. I have a Geeetech A10M right there. I have a Geeetech A10, and then I have a stack of A10 and A10Ms sitting here. So there also comes a an antenna. God, I couldn't think of the word. an antenna. So that usually means that there's Wi-Fi capabilities on it. So that's awesome. And then we also have a pair of little tweezers. That's nice to be included. So far, nobody has included a pair of tweezers with the ones that I've got, the Elegumars and the Hyea. Another thing, so we do have some resin, which is good because I brought out some resin just in case. And this one is actually one of the newer ones. This one is a water washable resin. So that'll be interesting to see that. See how that works. So we have 3D printing UV resin GTWR01. So this is yellow in color from what it says. UV sensitive wavelength 405 Newton meters, which is normal. And it is water washable resin, as it states there. I know you guys can't really see from the distance here. So this is one of the new ones that people have been talking about, the washable ones in water. Shake well before use, no drink, keep away from children. If needed, wear gloves and mask for safety. That is an important tip. If needed, wear gloves. Okay. Now, I've worked with the Elegumars and the Hyea for about 2 weeks now, and I've probably used gloves maybe twice. But I'm also very, very careful when using resin. And on top of it, not even 5 feet from where I'm sitting right now is a giant wash station for my washer and dryer. And I have some Dawn soap in there, and that stuff washes away literally anything. So if I happen to do get anything on my skin, which is usually just on my fingers here, I wash it away right after I'm done messing around with it. So I don't let anything sit on my skin. Always wash it off as soon as you do if you're not going to be using gloves. However, with that being said, I do highly suggest if you're going to be using resin, just use gloves anyways. It's just an extra precaution. I know they only go so far, and this can be all exposed. You know, I'm going to be wearing longer sleeves, but again, it can splash anywhere on you, and you might not even know it. So just be careful with that. So anyway. We have our power brick. This is most likely a 12 volt, 5 amp. Yep, exactly that. Our power supply in total with our power plug. Let's go ahead and untwine this. And we will plug that in really quickly. Just so that is already plugged in and ready to rock and roll. All right, so we have another bag here. Oh, there's another Allen key. So we do have some provided protection here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I could have opened that up normally. All right, so we have a Cat 5e cable. So that's nice because my router is literally right there. So we can use that. We have a stack of gloves. So I will be using that just for all intents and purposes. Some filters. Well, we got two filters. Not too bad. So wish they included a little bit more, but that's fine. I'm not really worried about it. An extra FEP sheet. This is a game changer right here because these are kind of hard to find. That hard to find when it comes to coming with a printer. Can't talk. Actually comes with 2 FEP sheets. My apologies. This mask. Now, if Geeetech is watching at any point in time, these masks they don't really work for resin stuff. This is more for like to keep some germs out, but it's not meant for filtration, from what I was told. So maybe look into getting a little bit better mask, if anything. Other than that, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not going to use it because I have a filtration system down here. So all of the fumes kind of stay within a certain area. So, all right. So we do have a DP200 leveling manual. And basically it's a 5-step system on how to level it. So we'll do that once we unbox it. We do have a Geeetech thank you and packing list. So it says, dear customer, thank you for choosing Geeetech products. Your trust and support are the best incentive for us to improve products and service. Absolutely. And that's another reason why I go with Geeetech, because they are always there to listen to you. And if you have any problems, they are always around, at least on Facebook. They are always around, which I am constantly on the Facebook forum, not forums, but groups. And they are always around to lend a helping hand no matter what your issue is. So warm tips, technical support and after sales service. Okay, there's their contact us, user manual, and tech info download, which I'm guessing will also be on this USB drive, as most printers carry it. Communication with others, Facebook groups. So that's the big thing right there. Packing list, the printer, platform, resin case, resin, flash drive, rubber gloves, funnel, release films, mask, Cat5, tool set, which is 4 Allen keys, plastic scraper, which is one of the nicer ones I've seen because it's pretty long and it's got that edge on it. Pair of tweezers, power supply, leveling paper, which is what we just showed, the external antenna, and the after sales contact card, which is what we are reading right now. All right. So without further ado, let's get this out. And as usual, these are packed pretty well. So let's see. Let's get this bad boy out. I might have to stand up for this. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get run over. Well, definitely packed very well. Okay, and there we have it. Basically looks like a giant silver box. There is some opening here, glass on top, UV glass. It does have a protective film, as well as on the front here, we do have a protective film. And then we have our LCD and our power button. This is nice to have on these machines, is a front power button. Also would be nice is to have a USB drive on there. But I kind of understand why they don't do that, because it's more of an aesthetic thing. Like, they don't want the front being cluttered on that. That's perfectly fine. As long as I got a power button on the front here, that's good enough, at least for me. You can always attach a USB plug some other way. So looks like we got some venting on the side here. It does have handles on the sides. So that's nice to have that, because you could just pick it up and move it around wherever you need to. So ease of portability. So let's go ahead and peel off this film. Okay. That. All right, so let's go ahead and get a look inside here. Oh, so, all right, so we have some extra film protection on the screens here. What's nice is you could actually take out these screens entirely. So there are some screws on here, and that's nice because that film that I took off doesn't come off 100%. It's actually stuck on the entire piece. So you could actually remove it and remove all of it. So that's awesome that they have that removable. Plus, that's nice because you can actually clean the sheets of UV glass, I guess you could call them, even though it's not really glass, plexiglass. Anyway, so in here we do also have some extra padding. So let's go ahead and take this bad boy out. So we have the top one. I'm going to pull out. Okay, here is our bed. Okay, flat surface. This seems to be a little bit scratched up here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I don't think that'll be a real big issue. If it is, we could just sand it down. Not the end of the world. I'm not really worried about it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And that's pretty much it. We're good to go. Let's go ahead and peel this stuff off. I'm sure it's going to be a royal pain. Because I don't have nails. I absolutely despise it. Should we try our trusty scraper? See if that helps. Ooh, it does. Ah. Use number 1 for your scraper. Taking off all the film that's on here. Or at least helping you to take it off. Now, even though I did say that, hey, you know, I didn't really look too much into the printer, I kind of did. Like, I know there's an onboard slicer on here and everything, which I'm sure is web-based, you know, so I'm sure we can slice everything on here. But more or less what I'm probably going to end up doing is just printing whatever they have on the SD card, or the, I keep saying SD card because I'm used to FDM printers. The USB drive, and just going from there. So we'll have to see. Well, that one I'm going to leave on there. I'm just going to take these two pieces of plexi UV resin, UV plexiglass off later on and clear off everything on there. But let's get this all set up here, shall we? So we're going to go ahead and plug it in. Power is all the way on the right. We're going to go ahead and screw the antenna on. Okay, antenna is on. Let's go see how the back is. Make sure that it's the FEP sheet and bed and everything is clean. Okay, so let's see here. That's actually kind of a nice little thing. So obviously it looks like this has kind of been used, probably for testing purposes. So I can kind of tell that it's been used a little bit. So that's nice that they at least give you the extra FEP sheets. This is pretty much the same setup. It looks like the same setup as the Elegoo Mars. I don't want to take that one out because it's got resin in it right now, but that would be cool if the vats are the same size, which I believe my buddy John has the DP200 and he has the Elegumars. I believe they're the same one. And it's the same type of setup. So that's kind of nice that it has that. If we can do that interchangeable, because that just means that there's more availability out there in case, you know, Geeetech's ones aren't available or vice versa, Elegumars is not available. But we'll get to that in another video when I do like a full breakdown of this and see how everything is. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get to leveling. I like that because the vat like locks into place without the screws. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so it says, as shown in the picture on the left, use a 7-word wrench. Translation is a little weird on that one. That's definitely not the right use of word. So let's see here. Probably the longer one, I'm guessing. So all right, so we'll loosen this up a little bit. Loosen this. Okay, so again, as shown in picture on the left, use a 7-word wrench to loosen the level stopper screws, which we have. Your plate should be loosey-goosey. Printing platform, suit until the printing platform can rotate freely. Okay, shown in the picture on the right, put a piece of leveling paper on the 2K. So it wants us to remove the entire vat, and I did have a piece of paper there. So let's go ahead and we're gonna take off like a quarter of the paper. Basically the same as FDM printing. You're going to be leveling your bed. That is the most important thing out of anything that has to do with resin printing. Without a level bed, you will get failures on a constant basis. Even if you think your bed is level and you have 3 prints that are on here. The one on the right goes okay. The one on the middle goes all right. And then one all the way on the left doesn't even print. Most likely your bed, I guess you could call this, is just slightly off balance. So re-level it, try it again. I know a lot of people suggest re-leveling your bed every time you take a print off of it. I think that's a little excessive, but if you want to always have a good print, by all means, go by those words. That's probably the best thing to do. So let's go ahead and power this bad boy on. So noise-wise, it's about as noisy as the Elegoo. Actually, it might be a little bit less. I don't have a decibel reader, so I can't really tell you. But it's basically saying DP200 is initializing. Please wait. Okay. I just hope this thing does not keep beeping at me, and if it does, yeah, it's an Allen wrench. I'm guessing it's a 7-end wrench, maybe. I don't know. I understand it. I mean, there's only 4 wrenches, so it's pretty self-explanatory. All right. So as shown in the picture on the right, put a piece of leveling paper on the 2K build platform, loosening the black fixing knob above. Printing platform kit and install it on the platform brackets. Okay, so it wants us to install the build plates. Go ahead and do that. All right. Now, yeah, it's Allen. One thing I will point out here is the LCD screen that's set in place here. I don't know if that's a 5-inch. I don't know if that is or not. If it is, they've cut it a certain way to where it's specific to a Geeetech, most likely. But what's nice is it's got uh, a bezel, yeah, a bezel around it that kind of keeps it in lock. So basically, like, look at this, and it's the same type of setup. So you have your LCD screen, and then you have a bezel with 4 screws that hold it down, I'm guessing. So if we do need to replace it at any point in time, it seems like that might be the easiest one to replace so far. But we'll see when that cuts down the road, and I'll have to do a video about that one too. But anyway, on to leveling it. So we're going to install it. If the platform position is too low and the print platform cannot be inserted. Okay, so it basically says if the platform is too low, then raise it up, and that way we can get it leveled. Excuse me. As shown in the picture, click on the picture left, click reset. So we're going to go to settings, Z-axis, I'm guessing. Okay. So doesn't really tell you this part, but obviously we're going to go into Z-axis, or I'm sorry, we're going to go from the main menu, we're going to go to settings, Z-axis, and that'll get you to where you need to move your Z up and down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to raise the Z-axis to a pluggable position. Okay. As shown in the picture, click reset, wait for the Z to fall and stop automatically. So let's go ahead and hit reset. Okay, so let's go ahead and raise this up a little bit, because we need to put some paper underneath. Okay, so instructions are a little iffy, obviously, because we're doing some translation stuff here. But basically, step 3, from step 2 to step 3, it doesn't really say like, hey, you got to put your piece of paper underneath here and then hit the reset on number 3. So we're going to go ahead and hit reset right now. I think we got it. We got it real good here, because that's pretty tight. I can't even move that. After the Z-axis resetting completes, manually adjust the 4 sides of the printing platform and the 4 sides of the 2K forming screen to the parallel position as shown in the picture on the right. So yeah, basically it tells you to line up your build plate, because when you loosen up all those screws, your build plate can go left, right, left, right, up and down. So it can go any way. So you want to level it with where it needs to be. Just making sure that the Z-axis is all the way on there. Okay. So actually, it looks like we're pretty much leveled on that point. Okay. Then use the 7-word French. Again, Allen key, basically. A-L-L-E-N. Well, that's 5 words, but. So what we're going to do, we're going to lock up the easiest one first. We're just going to lightly lock it up. That's the one in the front. Sorry, I wish I had another camera and my OBS set up properly to do this. Now, the one on the side is a little bit of a pain, because you do have the sides here that kind of hinder your abilities. But you want to get this as nice and tight as you possibly can. If you happen to have different Allen keys, I do suggest using those, because these are just the cheap run-of-the-mill ones. This one's actually kind of the better one. The ones that have the ball on the back end, those are the ones you got to be careful of, because they strip out all the time. So, all right. So that's good. All right, so basically use the wrench to tighten it. Click reset on the touchscreen one more time. Okay. Last, click the reset button again and put back the leveling paper before the Z axis resetting compiles. After the reset is stopped, switch leveling paper again to see if it is in a state where the resistance is obvious and uniform, difficult to extract. If so, the leveling is completed. Otherwise, you need to repeat the above steps. So basically, if you guys are coming from FDM printing, usually you know when you go to manually level a bed, which I absolutely hate doing, but when I get a new printer, that's kind of how it goes. You basically heat up your bed, heat up your nozzle, and you slide this back and forth underneath the nozzle at each corner, and you feel for a resistance. From what I'm told on SLA or resin style printers, the closer you get to a seal, the better your printing is. I am not 100% sure that that is the correct terminology to do that because I am still so new to resin printing. This is my third printer, and I've only been doing this for a little less than a month now. So I'm not 100% sure about it, and it's still kind of like nobody's really sure. But I will say the Elegoo Mars that I have in the corner here, I leveled it the same way, where basically it's almost impossible to take this paper out. Like, you have to force it out. And that thing prints amazingly. So let's go ahead. So basically, you got to do this really fast. You got to use two hands. You got to press reset, slide this under while it resets, and then do it again. Okay, so we are good. We're good as golden. All right. So now we're going to go home because that's pretty much it for that. Now it's just on to what we need to do. We're going to insert our, I always want to say micro micro SD card. It's a USB. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and insert that. We're going to bring up our build plate so we can put the vat back in. So we're going to raise up our Z. We'll do 30 millimeter. So another thing for if Geeetech is watching for maybe a future software update, I would say instead of it being 30, maybe make it 50, and maybe possibly add 100 if you can. The reason being is, or the other thing that you can do is you can remove the limitation, because the problem that I have right now is you press the 30, you press up, it'll raise up, but you can't press it again. So that means you got to wait for that 30 to release and then press it again. So maybe add that in, maybe 50 would be better. Okay, so again, I like this because the vat kind of locks in here. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is all enclosed, obviously. Let's go ahead and move this up a little bit more so you can get some more. Okay, so like I said, what's nice about this is this kind of locks into place. So I'm always a person that likes to have the fill in the front here. So what's nice is you slide this back, and then it slides down, and it's got like a stopper in the back here. So there's two Allen screws, one on this side and one over here, that kind of stop this vat from going back any further. So that's kind of I don't know if it's a design that they did, but if it is, that's great. If not, that's even better because it just happened to be by chance. Anyway, let's grab our resin again for those who are just watching now. We have the water washable resin, which will be interesting to test out. So shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. Now I'm wondering if I should use this or just use an open resin. Nah, we'll just use this. Great. So one thing, there's no cover on this. There's no protective seal. So for them, well, actually, this might not need a protective seal because it might be different properties than regular resin. So I'm not really sure how that goes because I've never used water washable resin. So we'll see how it goes. So if anybody knows anything about resin printing, or if you're new, there is like a line on the vat. The vat is what holds the resin. And that's basically your fill line. So you don't want to go max above that. I mean, you can. That just means you got more resin, but you don't. I don't particularly like doing that because just in case there's air pockets or bubbles, that's going to show up on your print. So you want to get those all out as much as you can. So we're going to fill this up a little bit. Actually, you know what? We're going to hold off on that. We're going to check the screen. Usually these have a screen set up here. Let's see. Light. So let's see what the light looks like. Now, you're technically not supposed to look at this, but I happen to have a UV case. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, well, that's not that bad. Okay, so the UV light works. So buzzer off. Goodbye. Thank you, Geeetech, for putting that in there, because I know with some of the people in the Elegoo Mars, thankfully mine's a newer model, so they automatically disable that in the firmware or the software, whatever. But I know in the first versions that was not the case. I absolutely hate buzzers and things like that, so I disable them. So here we go. We check the vat, we check the screen and everything. Let's go ahead and pour our resin in here. And this is a clear yellow. That's good enough. And again, I'm very careful with using resin. So I do have extra stuff around here to clean things off. And like I said, I am no more than 5 feet away from a wash station. So if I need to use it for any purpose at all, then we're good. All right. So now that we're set up here, let's go to printing. So we have a hollow lattice cube. All right. So, oh, I know this one. I should have known what this was. All right. So ratio is off. I'm guessing that's delete, print, or slice. So let's go ahead and print it. Okay. So it's got one. So it's starting the first layer out of 1,316 layers. And we have 267 minutes. It sounds a little extreme, but we'll see if that's true or not. Connect to 3D printer. So we did not connect anything Wi-Fi wise, and I'll probably not do that. I'll probably not even do a full print here. We'll just do a handful of layers and make sure that it's sticking properly, and then we'll go from there. But we'll at least see if it's working as intended. So far, so good. So we're going to close this. And this resin does not smell at all. I know the stinkiest resin I've used so far is from iFun, and that is their Tough ABS. That stuff
definitely stinks pretty badly. However, it's supposed to be a heavier duty resin, so understandably so. This is, like I said, water based, so so we'll see about that. What's nice about this is it says initial layer cure time is 40 to 50 seconds. Normal layer cure time is 6 to 10 seconds. So that's nice if you're trying to do settings for your software, or yeah, your software for your print, like in Sheet2Box or Prusa Slicer or whatever, whatever that is. That's nice that they have that. Yes, this is Geeetech resin, Steve. This is a 250 milliliter bottle, and this is clear yellow. So that's kind of cool. I don't even know what I would print in clear yellow. You know what? I have something. My son plays this game on Xbox called Slime Rancher. He's absolutely infatuated with it. Like, all of his friends are into Fortnite and whatnot. He's kind of like me. He's the odd man out. He usually goes for the printers that talking too much about printers. He usually goes for the things that are kind of out of context, I guess, than most people do. So yeah, he loves that. Did it come with the printer? Yes, this 250 milliliter bottle came with the printer. This looks like it's been sitting in the sun at least for a little while. At least the label has. I don't know if it's the label's supposed to look like this, but it definitely looks like it's sun worn, I guess you could call it. So yeah, but it comes with this printer. Like I said, this is the water washable resin, which I know a lot of people have issues with because of the environment and everything. I understand that. I get it. Resin's not technically supposed to be taken down the drain. If you are going to dispose of this in any way, shape, or form, I highly suggest curing it before you do anything like washing it down the drain. And really, you should throw it out. But curing it is probably your best thing to do. I don't suggest doing water, like just hovering it over your sink and washing it off. I do have a special setup here, which I'll show off really quick. I have this thing. My buddy who got me into 3D printing, and basically he didn't even need to. I wanted to anyways, and he just kind of sealed the deal for me with what he had set up. I have this thing called a magnetic stirrer, and basically it looks like a scale. Plugs in little, I think 12 volt DC, maybe even 5 volt, 9, who knows. I'm not sure where I put those, but there they are. So it comes with this little tiny bead, and this is magnet. This is a magnet. That was not a true sentence. But what's nice about this, and I'll show this off really quick since we're on here. But as you can see, it magnetizes to there. Now, when you turn this on, that spins. And what's nice is if you have a vat, much like this is what I use because it has a click top or lock top. So that way I can have IPA or water or whatever it may be inside of here, and I can cover this up so the fumes don't get out. This will create a vortex inside here, basically a tornado or not a typhoon, a hurricane, because hurricanes are water-based more or less. That's what's nice about this is you can put this in here and cure your resin. Well, not cure them, but stage 1 of processing your resin to cure it, and basically it'll vortex everything and wash your print 100%. It's really nice to have this thing. I will probably end up getting another vat like this, or a Tupperware, whatever you want to call it, because I'm going to do a wash station in water, and then I'm going to do a I guess cure station in IPA, isopropyl alcohol, and I always use 99%. I used to have 70 and 91%, but ever since I use those, they are gone. I do not use them anymore. I do have this that I printed. Unfortunately, it is not for this model. As you can see, it doesn't really fit in there very well. So I'm going to probably put it in Tinkercad one of these days and resize it down to the inside here. But basically, you can put that on there, and I have this even upside down. You can put that on here, and that'll keep this little nub from hitting any of your prints and destroying it, because this thing does spin very, very fast. So let's so this is a nice addition to have for sure if you guys are going to be getting into this. I do also have the Geeetech UV resin setup. So if anybody's wondering about, I'm not even sure where I put it. Somewhere around here. There it is. I do have my cure station. It's a little DIY one that I printed off Thingiverse, and the filament that I used was just garbage filament. That's why there's a bunch of different color variations and problems with it and issues. But basically, I lined it with foil. I put in a solar-powered jeweler's stand, I guess you could call it. Put that in there. Put my prints on there. Put that on there. It's a three-step base. And then we have our top cover, which is right here. And then we have our little Geeetech light that we have. Nice and small and compact. And guess what? It fits almost right in there. So that's nice to have. Like I said, I'm a Geeetech fanboy, so you'll see a lot of Geeetech stuff and me talk about Geeetech. This light is not necessarily bright. It says it's 60 watts. Brown line, so it is 450 Newton meters. I do have a bigger one if I'm worried about, you know, possibly the prints not curing correctly. So I have this big bad boy, and this is 20 watts. And yeah, this is 395 Newton meter plus 5 Newton meter. It's kind of strange how they do that, but yeah, this is the big bad boy. So all I have to do is remove that and put that on there. And if I need to make sure that something cures a little bit more, I'll definitely use that for sure. So. All right, so it looks like we're on layer 18 already. What's nice about this is it tells you exactly the cure times too, which I don't believe my Elegoo shows me that. My Hyea might. Now I've only messed around with my Hyea for a little bit, or Hyea, however you want to call it. That's kind of the more expensive printer. But I got that as a Amazon return, so it has some problems. It needs a new LCD. The Z-axis was kind of wonky because the cabling was not properly inserted. So we got that working. I'm just waiting on for the replacement LCD, which is coming all the way from Taiwan. So whenever it gets here, I'll do a comparison because that's more suited to go up against this printer. With what it's got in it than it does the Elegoo, because the Elegoo Mars is more or less a budget resin printer, whereas this is like a little bit above that. So this is where you start getting into the nicer printers. And the reason why I say that is because it has a built-in slicer. So let's say I have an STL file and I don't even have a slicer on my computer, or my computer's too old to slice something, but I'm able to move a file, an STL file, from the internet to my USB stick. You can go ahead and load that onto the USB stick, and there's actually a built-in slicer on here that will slice everything for you, and you can go ahead and print it. Is that ideal? No, I don't suggest that, because if something requires supports, there's a good chance that it will either not print the supports, or if it does print the supports, it might not be 100% than what you need to be. So one of the issues that people need to learn on resin printing is it's not as click and go as FDM printers, where you set up a file, you put on your auto supports, and for the most part, it's, I would say 99% of the time, it gets your supports that you need to make the print work. Whether it be missing some overhangs here and there, you can adjust that slightly and it'll automatically support it ready to go. Whereas like Sheet2 Box or Prusa Slicer is a little bit better from what I've seen, but Sheet2 Box definitely lacks a little bit in support structure. So I don't really want to say that it's bad, but for the most part, it'll get you to where you need to go, but you need to look over the model and double check, like, okay, this is this overhang, but should I add some more? Because, you know, if you have something that's at a 45-degree angle, it might have a support here and a support all the way at the top here, and that's it. So you don't have any support in the middle here. So that's something you got to take a look into and take into account. Like, hey, you will probably have a droop there, if anything, that, you know, might not connect properly. So you got to adjust accordingly. So adding manual supports, you will probably always have to do when it comes to resin printing, because from what I've seen so far, there is nothing that is automatic and that is good to go right away. I have not seen one yet that, like, an STL file that I put in there and plugged it up and it's good to go right away for automatic supports. So manuals, always do automatic supports, obviously, unless you're a manual support guy, you know, then by all means have at it. I will say that Sheet2 Box is a little so-so with manual supports, whereas like Prusa Slicer, when you go to add manual supports, you will see all the automatic support structure automatically connected on there. I can't remember if Sheet2 Box does the same thing, but basically what they do is they destroy the entire automatic supports and leave like connecting dots. So you can see where all those automatic supports are going to be generated. So if you have something that's like this and you need a support structure here, you can go and click add automatic support. And then once it automatically regenerates those, it will connect all of these so you can have a support structure that's very solid. So now the other thing is, when you're doing support structures, I have seen some people who overdo support structures, and that makes their prints fail. The reason being is they're either too heavy, or they put a support in the wrong way, and just the way that everything connects, it makes it fail. There's no way around it. It's kind of strange that it does that, but again, we're working with something that's completely different to FDM printing, whereas FDM printing is a little more easier to deal with right out of the box. Resin printing, I guess, is kind of easy, but if you don't know nothing about it, you know, it's a little daunting at first. So that's why I kind of try and make as many videos as I possibly can, in terms of helping out people and whatnot. So we're gonna let this go to like maybe layer height 50. We're at 28 right now, and I'm gonna cut it off and see how it goes. I have to look on Thingiverse or look on the forums. Sorry, the groups. I always say forums because I'll be honest, I missed forums. Forums are much more information oriented than anything. So I've been kind of wanting to go back and make a forum again, because the information at hand is so easily attainable from there that, you know, it's better. for a lot of people, especially people who are getting into this type of printing and printing in general. It's nice to have that right at your fingertips, where 9 times out of 10 you're going to see the same post over and over and over again on Facebook, because there's no real way to collectively gather all that information into one spot and say, all right, well, here's this, here's a picture of what it looks like, here's a link to that. Whereas Facebook, you can kind of do some things, but not all things. So I guess I kind of missed that type of feature. So it'd be nice to have that back. So, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just old school and nostalgia, whatever. So, but yeah. So going back to the Geeetech, so far so good. First impressions. It's a nice little printer. It is definitely very heavy. It's got a lot of ventilation on it. We have ventilation in both of the sides here, so that's very nice. The fan is about the same as any other resin printer. It's kind of loud. Maybe down the road, when these fans start going out, I'll look into possibly a quieter fan. One thing I definitely will be staying away from is a Noctua fan. I know that's really, really big in the communities to add a Noctua fan. Here's one of the big things about Noctuas. Noctuas, you sacrifice air quality, move. That's even the right word to say. I can't think of the actual name. Airflow. Got it. So you sacrifice airflow for sound. So while yes, it is a almost quietless fan, you sacrifice having that airflow on there. So whereas most of these fans are running at, like, let's just throw it out there, 90 CFM, a Noctua is probably running at like 34 or 35, whatever. I don't know why I threw a 34 out there, but it's probably running at a quarter of that because you're quieting the sound. So while there are some fans out there like Sunon fans, they are very good replacement for stock fans, especially if you're using FDM printers like you see in the back here. Those are probably the better fans to replace them, because they're a little bit quieter. They're, I believe they're ball bearing fans, if I'm not mistaken, or bearing fans in general. So they do run quite a lot quieter. They're not 100% quieter. They're not Noctua quiet, but they'll definitely cut down. So, let's say, like I said, these are running at 90 CFM. The Sunons are probably running at 60 CFM, but they're still outputting. Well, sound-wise, they're outputting 60 CFM, but they're still outputting, maybe 70 or 80 CFM, if that makes any sense to you guys. So, but as of right now, until these blow out, I don't think I'll be replacing them anytime soon, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same thing I say for upgrading printers. If it's not something that's gonna majorly change the way that you print, there's no need to do it. A lot of these times people get into 3D printing and they just they go crazy with modifications, and they don't get to learn their printers, and that's where a lot of people go wrong with things. So, all right, so we're at layer 46. Layer 46. Okay, clear screen. Set position. Connect to 3D printer. Curing for 7 seconds. Okay. All right, so we're almost there. Um, all right. So we are at 51, so I'm going to stop it. Do you want to stop printing? Yes, I do. So hopefully that raises that layer up. And then we can take a look at the print and see how it came out. There we go. All right, so now it's lifting the print up. One thing I will say that a lot of these smaller printers and probably just resin printers in general lack a little bit is they have a build plate that sits on the Z-axis. And when you go to finish your print, I wish there was a way that somebody had a pivot joint that would tip the build plate, because what happens is the build plate is just here, and yeah, even though the top is beveled a little bit, it might not work to your advantage when it comes to, you know, quickly draining off that resin. So a lot of times the resin will, I guess, settle at the edges. So it's always nice to have a build plate that's able to be tipped without losing its leveling feature. So it looks like firsthand, ours is a failure. Stuck to the FEP sheet. All right. So, and I'm not sure if that has to do with the scratches on the bed or not. I will have to look into that. Now, this is definitely interesting because this is a water-based resin, or not a water-based, but it's water washable resin. So it definitely is a thinner resin. Now, I've never used the clear ones before, but it's definitely less coagulated. It's probably not the right terminology to use in that sense, but it's definitely less less goopy. It's more runny than a normal resin. So we technically did get a print off of it. It did fail. So I gotta mess with some of the settings and everything, possibly re-level, just make sure maybe we're not a little too close there, because it's possible that we might be too close. But yeah, we'll clear this all off, get it restarted, and then we'll do some more test prints, and I'll post them up in the Geeetech Geeetech groups, and kind of show everything off. But for the most part, that's it for printing. Again, if you guys have failures, always just go and re-level your bed. That's the worst thing that you can do. It's really the worst thing you can do. Not even joking. So that's all you have to do, and then go ahead and reprint it. That's it. So all in all, I will say this is a pretty good printer for the $470 it currently is on Amazon. because most people are going to buy this from Amazon. Let's be realistic. One of the upsides to this is it does have a built-in slicer in it. So like I said, if you don't have a computer that has the ability to do slicing software, then you can go ahead and at least move the STL file to the printer, and it'll automatically set everything up for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's what's kind of nice about that. So it does also have what seems to be Wi-Fi on it, or at least yeah. So it does have a it does have Wi-Fi on it, it looks like, and the ability to go on the internet. So that's definitely another plus, where you can use this as a web browsing system. Most likely, it probably uses Nano DLP, I would guess. We'll see what type of software it does use, or at least a web browser that it does use. So, but initial impressions, like I said, it is definitely a nicer printer than the Elegoo Mars. You can tell build quality is definitely a lot better, and it's nice because it is a fully enclosed system, kind of like the Anycubic, where you don't have this acrylic sheet, which, as you can see, the return that I got was broken, so I kind of soldered the plastic together. These acrylic sheets, boxes as you can call them, tend to have that issue where they break. So but yeah, we'll play with this a little bit more and see how it goes. I'm sure I can get it right. It's 2:30 right now in the AM. I should probably try and get back to bed. And we'll do some more prints on this tomorrow and see how they come out. I got a couple files I'll slice up and put them on here, but we'll get it up and running. It's not that hard. Like I said, the worst case scenario is you have to re-level the bed, which that's exactly what I'm going to do after this video, and I'll set a print and see where we go from there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and give a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more endeavors on what I'm going to be doing with SLA style printing, DLP printers, whatever you want to call them, resin printers in general, go ahead and subscribe. I will be having more videos on the Geeetech, more videos on the Elegoo Mars, more videos on the Hyea, and soon to be the Photon S by Anycubic. And then we will be doing a head-to-head on each one of the $500 range printers, and see how that goes, and kind of do an unbiased review, even though I'll probably be a little more biased. No, I'll probably be more for the Geeetech, whatever, because I'm a Geeetech fanboy. But I've heard great things about the new Photon S, and that Hyea, there's not too much known about that. So it'd be nice to get some more content about that out there. And also the Geeetech is not really too much known out there, but so far so good. It seems to be a pretty good workhorse. So again, thank you guys for watching and stopping by. Go ahead and subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, whatever you want to do. I don't really need it, but hey, it'd be cool to be a YouTuber, official YouTuber at some point. So yeah, thanks guys. Have a good night and happy printing.